Sign up for ESPN right here, and you can then stream UFC on ESPN Live on your computer, phone, tablet or streaming device via the ESPN app. The Ultimate Fighting Championship returns to Minneapolis as UFC on ESPN3 takes place this Saturday. A number of ranked fighters are competing on the card, so let's take a look at them and the possible implications their fights could have on the rankings. In the main event, Francis Ngannou collides with Junior Dos Santos in a pivotal heavyweight encounter. Ngannou, 13-3, looks like his old self again following recent knockouts of Curtis Blades and Cain Velasquez. A win over Dos Santos, 21-5, would make it 3 straight wins and virtually guarantee the Predator of another title shot. After all, he is rated as the 4th best heavyweight in the world by Sherdog, the 3rd best according to ESPN, and is ranked No. 2 in the UFC rankings. Dos Santos, meanwhile, is also on a winning run with 3 straight wins including finishes over Tai Tuivasa and Derek Lewis. Another win would also likely guarantee Ngannou for the title shot as he continues to remain a huge threat in the division even at 35 years of age and given his mileage in the sport. The Brazilian is currently rated as the 3rd best heavyweight in the world by Sherdog, the 5th best as per ESPN, and is No. 3 in the UFC rankings. A pivotal flyweight encounter is also on the cards as Jussier Formiga takes on Joseph Benavidez in a rematch in the co-main event. Formiga, 23-5, is on a 4-fight winning streak, having most recently outpointed the previously undefeated Davison Figueiredo. A win over a perennial contender in Benavidez, 27-5, would not only earn him revenge following his first defeat to him, but also put him next in line for another rematch against current 125-pound king Henry Cejudo. Da Silva is currently regarded as the 4th best flyweight in the world by Sherdog and ESPN, while he is No. 1 in the UFC rankings. The same applies for Benavidez, who has won 8 of his last 9 fights and is currently on a 2-fight winning streak. The American, however, notably has a win over Cejudo, and should he defeat Formiga a second time, will undoubtedly have earned another crack at the title now that Demetrius Johnson no longer reigns over the division. The only question is if Cejudo will defend the flyweight title next rather than his newly won bantamweight crown. Benavidez is rated as the 3rd best flyweight in the world by Sherdog and ESPN but is curiously ranked No. 2 in the UFC rankings. Lastly, welterweights are in action as former title challenger Damian Maia meets Anthony Rocco Martin. Following 3 consecutive defeats, Maia, 26-9, got back to winning ways with a first-round submission win over Lyman Good earlier this year. He will now look to make it 2 wins in a row and climb back up the rankings. The Brazilian has dropped out of Sherdog and ESPN's top 10 but is ranked No. 12 in the UFC rankings. Meanwhile, Martin, 16-4, is on a 4-fight winning streak as a winner of 7 of his last 8 fights. His most recent win was a unanimous decision victory over Sergio Moraes earlier this year. A black belt in jiu-jitsu, the American could look to test his skills on the ground against arguably the best grappler in the promotion. A win would not only be the biggest of his career but could also insert himself into the top 15 of the UFC rankings for the first time. Let's block ads. Why?